the cost to be the boss. Paid the cost to be the boss. Look at me. Know what to see? See a bad mother. Told you so. Having fun, got money fun.
All right, let's kick this thing off. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys see me? Let me get a little 777 in the chat if you guys can. Otherwise, I'm just speaking into nowhere. And also a question, how is the audio level? Because I was listening to one of my recordings, it seemed pretty loud. Hey, what's good, Paulo? What's good, my bro? What's good, Peter? What's good, Mitch? What's good, Eliza? Santana? What's good, Ron? What's good, Nate? That's a bit low. It's good. What are we saying? 111 for it to be low, 222 for it to be good. All right, cool. It's good. Obviously, if it is a little bit low, just let me know. All right, so let me start recording and then let's kind of get into this bit. So, right, it is an absolute gigantic week in the markets, right? Absolutely insane. We have got some big news developments this week. You know, not only do we got the BOJ, we got the federal fund rates, FOMC press conferences, we've got fucking the Swiss franc monetary policy. We got the pounds monetary policy. Oh, mate, I'm getting out of breath. Right, we got a lot of news this week. So obviously catching up from our last call, obviously last week, obviously everyone should be up to date and know that the NYSE is opening an hour earlier. So that means obviously our blue box golden window is an hour earlier and finishes an hour earlier as well, just because of the daylight savings. And it will be going back to normal at the end of the month. So don't worry about that. But obviously, if you remember on our last call, we did speak about what was coming up in the week. Obviously, we had the jobs labor market data coming out. We had the CPI data coming out. And obviously, we had the PPI data coming out, which obviously came out last week. So let's catch up on that. Let's figure out what's our bias without even looking at the chart. And then once we know our direction, then we can start kind of getting into everything else and that front. So first things first, labor market that came out. We can see that the labor market is very robust and very strong right now. It is up 7.74 million from 7.5 million. Hiring rose over 19,000 and the layoffs decreased over 34,000. So what does that mean? That means that the labor market is very strong. Even though this does lag a little bit and it's from obviously January's data, it is showing that the labor market is very strong right now. So what is that going to mean for our stock markets and our indices? Well, as we've all been talking about, they're extremely bullish, right? I'm not fazed at all by these small corrections, and I'm looking at these things crack all-time highs, ideally very soon if we don't get one more dip. Obviously, we're going to get into the whole technicals on indices a little bit later, but earnings are still very positive for most of these stocks inside of these companies, and the labor market is still very robust. So I don't see a big reason for these things to crash. Like, I think the only reason we've been seeing this crash recently across indices and obviously crypto is it's just a shakeout of weak hands, right? Fundamentally, there's no reason, especially with the data that come out last week, there's no reason for this sell-off to continue anymore. The only reason we started having these sell-offs were three main reasons. The first one was a shakeout of weak hands, because obviously Trump coming into office, everyone was anticipating that, you know, these markets were going to absolutely rally and go to the moon. Everyone was thinking that, you know, Bitcoin's going to millions of dollars, Ripple, XRP, Ethereum, right? Everyone was extremely bullish. And we all know that the markets do the opposite of what everyone wants. So when everyone's getting greedy, that's the time to be fearful. And now when everyone's fearful, now is the time to be greedy again. So when we start looking at what caused these crashes, I think it was one, obviously Trump, coming into office, and that optimism with him coming in, it was just generating a lot of liquidity. Now, a lot of these people who are buying blindly in cryptos and stocks, etc., are now sitting at a loss. If we look at even Bitcoin specifically, right? We know that everyone who's buying it, the six-figure region, is sitting in a massive drawdown. Is it possible that we can still get another dip like we've been talking about since the start of this year? Yeah, right. If you go back to our recordings in January, we were sitting up here at 80 to 100K saying, look, it's possible that this can come down to 50, 60K. So I still think it's possible for it to give another shakeout on Bitcoin specifically, but the fundamental tide is turning. And I think on Wednesday, we're going to get a lot more clarity in terms of where these are going to go, in terms of, are we going to dip a little bit lower, or are we just going to put in the spring here? But again, what I'm trying to say here is don't be scared. Don't be worried about these corrections. It's totally normal. There's nothing bearish about these markets long term, right? Most people have to lose before the real moves can actually occur. So in terms of kind of getting up to date with obviously the news. So obviously last week we did have CPI data that came out, and we did see that inflation data has begun to fall again. And what do we know, chat? What do we know happens typically when inflation starts to fall? What does that mean? Put my phone on do not disturb. So IG post is fucking blown up. All right, rates can get cut, definitely, and dollar can be bearish, 100%, right? So if we look at our most recent inflation release, we see it, CPI year over year came out at 2.8%. We know that PCE has been falling, right? So inflation across the board and PPI as well, right, came out lower year over year from 3.7 to 3.2, below in expectations out of the water. So seeing that inflation is coming lower, what does this mean, and how is this going to give us a direction? So we know that it's the central banks are the people that control the direction of these markets, right? Based on their monetary policy. Are they trying to increase interest rates to slow down the economy and rise the value of the dollar, so people take money out of stocks, take money out of risk assets and put it into a safe haven, such as a dollar? Or do they lower the rates, and are they trying to stimulate the economy so people can take their money out of these safe havens, out of the dollar, and begin to put it into their risk assets? I think what we're seeing right now is the footprint of a risk-on environment, because what's happening? Inflation is falling again. And seeing that what happens when inflation falls, rate cuts tend to follow after inflation falls. What does that mean? Why is that important? Because the interest rate basically determines if someone is going to buy or hold the dollar. You think of it like a bank account. If you've got an option to have money in a bank account that's giving you a 2% interest rate or a 5% interest rate, where are you going to put your money? Well, you'd rather put your money. The audio's low. Is it low for everyone else? There's two people now said it's low. Or is it still good? I can turn it up. Not for you? No, it's good. All right, I think you need to turn your volume up then. But yeah. So where we know that where was we? Right, where we know that inflation's coming down. Back to the bank account. If you've got an option of having interest rates in one account, which is 1% interest rate, or one which is 5%, where you're going to put your money. You're going to put your money where you're going to get the better interest rate. You're going to get the better yield. So it's the same thing with these investors. All they're doing is seeking a better return on investment. So what happens is with the dollar specifically, as it's the safe haven currency of the world, people don't buy the dollar, they buy the government bond yields, right? Because a government bond is like a backed security, and these have yields. They have a 10-year yield, they have a 2-year yield, a 30-year yield, and a 5-year yield. And basically the yield is the return on investment. It's correlated to the interest rate. And these yields, so the 5-year, the 30-year, the 20-year, and the 10-year, these markets is what's going to drive the value of the dollar. So when you know what the central bank are doing with their interest rates, you know what's going to happen with the bond yields. When you know what's happening with the bond yields, you're going to know what's happening with the dollar. You're going to know what's happening with your stocks. You're going to know what's happening with your cryptos. You're going to know what's happening with all of your markets without even needing to look at the chart of the specific instrument you're looking at. So without even looking at GBP USD, Euro USD, we know we're looking for buys on them right now. Why? Because if we know that inflation's starting to fall, and if it continues on this downtrend, interest rates will now come lower. And if interest rates are coming lower, what's going to happen? Well, think about it. If you've got your money in a bank account and your return on investment's about to come lower, why would you keep your money in there? You'd take it out and put it somewhere else where you'd get a better yield, a better return on investment. So it's the same thing. If interest rates are going to be falling, which we'll see on we might see on Wednesday. Obviously, we'll talk about the FOMC meeting in a second. But when inflation falls, the interest rates fall. And obviously, when the interest rates fall, that's what causes the yields to fall, which obviously causes the dollar to fall. And if we know that the dollar's falling, that can help. Again, there's not a one-for-one correlation, but that can help our risk assets continue higher. That can help our pound, our euro continue higher. Maybe some Australian dollar, maybe some New Zealand dollar. We'll take a look at it later. So for me right now, I'm like, what's my thesis on the dollar, right? I want to sell that hoe like a pimp on Christmas. Like there is nothing bullish about the dollar right now from a fundamental standpoint. The only thing that can come in, right, and start to change this bias is if the Fed on Wednesday come out and raise their rates. But I don't see why they would raise their rates. What reason do they have to raise rates? The inflation's up, but it's not. Inflation's just come down. So there's no need for them to raise rates. Are they going to cut rates this week? Well, let's talk about it. So we did have some more news that came out, right? Obviously today, which was the retail sales, and the retail sales are showing that the labor market and the economy is pretty strong, which can help indices be bullish. But on Wednesday, of course, we've got the FOMC and the Federal Reserve that's coming out, which is very, very important. If we do get the rate hike, which I think is very unlikely, we can see a bullish dollar, right? Because higher rates, higher interest, higher yield, people want and they want to chase that return on investment. But again, there's no need for them to raise rates. They only raise rates when inflation is doing what? When inflation's going higher. And we'll use some examples in a minute with the Japanese yen to explain what's going on. But where we've seen PCE data, cool. CPI data, cool. PPI data, cool. There's no reason for them to raise rates. Now, obviously, the Fed have a target of 2% inflation. It's not at 2%. It's at 2.8 right now, if I'm not mistaken. Where was it? It is 2.8%. So I doubt they're going to cut rates. It makes sense for them to hold them because last time, now obviously it's not my job to predict. I'm just going to look at the data and formulate a bias. I'm not going to bet, oh, they're going to raise rates or not. I don't know. It's not my job. I just create and prepare scenarios around it. So based on the data, it doesn't make sense for them to raise rates. Last time when they started cutting rates, we started to see inflation uptick again. So I don't think they're going to be in a rush to try to cut rates anymore until we see inflation continue to come a lot lower. So can you explain the economic cycle? You can go in the chat, bro, and you can watch the training on it. There's a whole training on it, bro. The link is in the chat. I'll send it after. But I think there's going to be, well, obviously, it's not my job to predict, but I think it's very likely that they can pause the rates. Now, if they cut rates, holy, right? It's going to be Armageddon for the dollar, bro. That thing is going to shit itself. I doubt they're going to cut rates, though. I think it makes sense for them to pause rates. So what is going to affect the bias? For me, it's pretty much kind of set in stone with the stuff that's happening with inflation. I do want to hear what they're going to say on their speech with their economic projections and their statement. Now, what we mentioned last week, right? What did Powell signal with a dot plot? And what's the dot plot? The dot plot is basically how do I put it in simple terms? The dot plot is like a graph, and it basically predicts, well, it's not prediction, it's their plan for what they're going to do with interest rates. And this is what the market will respond to, because obviously, the central bank, the chairman of it, he's going to have a plan for what's going to happen with their monetary policy. And if he's showing that, the monetary policy, we're going to cut rates more aggressive in the future, that's going to cause the dollar to sell off more. Last time, right, Powell, back in, I think it was December, the last time they released it, they changed it, right? When the dollar was selling off back in, if we open the chart, right? When the dollar was selling off back It's obviously selling off again, but when we were selling off back in, where was it? Like back in like November 2022, right? In the start of 2023, that dot plot was saying that they're going to cut rates like crazy in 2023. Like it's going to be fucking Armageddon. But inflation started to uptick and they changed the dot plot. And that's why, right, the dollar started to rally, because higher inflation led to the narrative of higher interest rates for longer. Higher interest rates for longer will start to cause the value of the currency to rise. Why? Because again, if you've got your option to put money in one bank account that's got a 2% interest and one that's got a 10% interest, which is crazy, you'd obviously put in the one that's higher. So higher interest rates attract investment, attract demand, and send the value of that instrument higher. So when they have, so what has happened recently? Obviously, their dot plot gets released officially this week, but he has signaled that there's possible tweaks to their dot plot and their rate path forecast, that they're looking to bring the rates down sooner because of the progress of inflation again. So if they do come out on Wednesday and they do start speaking about things like, okay, we're happy with the rates, we're happy with the progress of inflation, we're seeing it on its path, they start changing their dot plot, this is going to continue that narrative for a bearish dollar. And of course, we know that Trump's party, obviously being a Republican, is very bearish for the dollar as well. So this is just further kind of catalysts for the market to sell off, in my opinion. So after all that conclusion, I think dollar is going to be continued bearish. The only thing that's going to start to make me bullish on the dollar is if we start seeing inflation, PCE, CPI, and PPE uptick again. And if, the Fed raises rates this week, which I doubt it, I don't see, there's no reason for them to raise rates at this point. So long story short, right, I'm looking to start selling the dollar, and we'll get into the technicals in a minute. If they pause rate cuts, are we going to elongate? That is a very fancy word. Are we going to elongate the intraday redistribution? Define elongate. Like, do you mean just it's going to just, like, for example, if we go on a lower time frame, do you mean just consolidate more? No, because for me, I still think like the markets also anticipate what's going to happen. Like it's also that it's for me this week. It's not just, oh, what's the number? It's what's the narrative? What's the story behind it? Because if they're coming out and they're like, oh, we're really scared of inflation. Inflation's really bad risks. Oh my God, the economy's fucked. Then we're going to keep rates higher for longer. Then yeah, it's probably go higher. But if they come out with, okay, we're happy with the progress of inflation. Let's watch the data. Let's not be too cautious and too eager and cut rates, but let's hold them steady with a future plan to bring them lower, then I think it will continue selling off, if that makes sense. So it's more so about the data behind it rather than, oh, just what is the interest rate? Because the interest rate itself can lag sometimes. Does that make sense? We'll get into the actual technicals and where we can take trades. Obviously, on a, if we can zoom out on a higher time frame, right? We go up to the monthly for a second. We know that, this thing, if we're looking at this over the next 10, 20 years, yeah, this thing will probably, go to fucking all-time lows and pre-2008 levels. We are in a massive distribution of a monthly time frame. When we scale down to like the weekly and daily, right? Let's look on the weekly. Right, we are starting to, where's my pen? We are starting to distribute. Oh, here we go. I can use this. Here we go. All right. We are starting to distribute over here. Now, for me, what I quite like about this spike here, right? They created this spike when what happened? Inflation started to fall. Now we're seeing inflation fall again. This is the recipe, I think, for this thing to really start selling off. Now, of course, for price to come down to these levels, this is going to take years. I don't expect this happening today or tomorrow. It is going to take some time for that to occur. But if we kind of scale down to like a daily, right, this redistribution is starting to set up quite nicely, in my opinion. So obviously, what creates a redistribution? It always starts off as an accumulation, shake out of the highs, and break to the downside, right? So obviously on the daily time frame, we still need that break. But based on the current fundamental narrative, I don't have a reason for buyers to step in. So I am still going to be looking to play the sells down to this low. So when we kind of scale down to a 4-hour and an hourly, where is my supply? Where is my demand? So my most recent supply on the dollar is about 106,900. That is very far away. I don't think it's going to come up. I don't think it's going to come up this high. You know, if you look at the weakness on this, I don't really see it. I mean, I think what it could do, there's two kind of scenarios to me, which I'm going to play. There's definitely a possibility that we can get a larger shakeout and this thing can kind of take this liquidity, do something like basically do the same thing which it did here, a larger shakeout to the high and a redistribution like that. I think that's possible. But if we kind of go in on more of like an intraday time frame, all right, it did do exactly what we spoke about on last call. If you remember on last call, we were sitting here, right? On last Monday when we did it, right? We said, okay, all right, wait for the sweep of the low, then the sweep of the high, and then the breakdown. What did it do? Exact same thing. Sweep of the low, sweep of the high, and then now we've got that break to the. Oh, did we get the break? Let's investigate. Did we get the break? Let me confirm it. Oh, not yet. Okay, interesting. We haven't quite broke this low yet. So I need this low to break. All right. And once this low breaks, we're going to be game to start looking for these shorts on the dollar. So if we can pop this low, then I'll be looking for price to kind of mitigate and place a lower time frame distribution in here. And if it can print something like this, probably ideally I'd be trying to look for something like this tomorrow, just to ideally try to get a short before the FOMC. So then the FOMC can be our catalyst to send this thing lower. That will look, I think, pretty good for this. So this is kind of my thesis on the dollar. I mean, of course, if it doesn't break that low, there is a chance that this thing can, you know, come higher, maybe create a shakeout like that. All right. Or I mean, it'll be perfect if it comes up here, but I mean, yeah, the market is very weak right now. I don't see a reason for it to get that much strength up there. It's pretty far away. I mean, we're talking like 300, 400 pips is quite a lot. This was the same, that this was your high time frame narrative. Wait, what? Why am I being autistic? This was your same high time frame narrative in Q3 last year. You predicted it may happen in Q1 2025. Yeah. So obviously higher time frame, right? You know, well, in terms of that, like for those who don't know what she's talking about, you know, we was sitting, where was we? This end of last year, we was around, where was we? Somewhere like somewhere down here, right? And we said, okay, it's definitely a possibility because we've come into this demand that we can come up, create the UTAD for the larger redistribution. And it's just following the market cycle down. You know, we know that the market never just goes highs and lows, highs and lows, highs and lows. It always creates manipulations of those highs before going lower. And we want to get the mitigations of those highs and lows that get manipulated. So it's pretty much just creating a pretty much a textbook market cycle at this point. Yeah. You drew the UTAD in the same place where it happened. It's like we've got a magic ball. But no, it's just a strategy, you know, it's just the same thing. I mean, we obviously had this imbalance. It would have been nice for it to come higher. Did we crack the 110? Oh, we did crack the 110 as well. So yeah, it's looking pretty good for the sells. I mean, I'm going to keep looking for sells this week on the dollar. And there's not really much of a reason to change it unless we see some crazy developments with the Fed. But has anyone got any questions about that? Anyone got any questions about the dollar or the news in regards to the dollar? Remember, no question is a dumb question. We're here, we're live for a reason. If there's anything you don't understand, you know, please ask, don't just sit there. Would the recent job openings be a catalyst for a strong labor market? No, yeah, I mean, it is. You know, it is a strong labor market for sure. Yeah, I mean, let's look at it, right? What happened with jobs? All right. We had more hiring and less layoffs. That's a strong labor market to me. For sure. It's a very strong labor market. So I think what that's going to do is start sending indices up higher, but we'll get into indices later. So in terms of dollar, this is kind of going to be my thesis for it. So I'm just going to pop a little alert on this low. Moving on to, let's say, some currencies. So if we're looking at Euro USD now, it's pretty much going to be the same thing, which is the inverse of the dollar. We know that for Euro USD, all right, we couldn't really care less about the Euro fundamentals. I mean, of course, it can influence it, but this is being driven by the dollar right now. So my main thesis on this is based on this weak dollar, all right, I want to buy up, the euro. So if we can come back into this manipulation, given accumulation, this will be game to start buying, to be fair. Now, of course, this thing can come lower. All right, I'm not going to be too aggressive trying to buy in here. This thing can still create another shakeout like this and go lower. Yeah. Yes, I mean, a manipulation is a manipulation. We got distribution, we got shakeout, we got accumulation, we got a sign of strength. I mean, I would have preferred it to clear these lows. If I'm not lying, I would have definitely preferred it. So if it can sweep that, or if it can do that, that would have been better. Based on where the dollar is, and the dollar hasn't quite given the weakness, we are seeing a little bit of divergence where the euro is showing more strength and the dollar is obviously showing not enough weakness yet. So I do want the dollar to confirm that redistribution and pop that low, to be honest with you. That would be perfect. So for me, you took a buy in that accumulation. What accumulation? What accumulation, bro? For me, there's nothing valid in there for me. But good job if you managed to catch something. For me, this was active distribution all day long. Obviously tied into a reaccum, but I think like you're saying, Ron, I think it could have definitely swept that low. So trying to buy out of here was very low probable. Obviously, and this is the thing with trading, because you can win a trade one time and you think, yeah, I did something good. But it's like when you mature and when you get more experience, you realize it's not about winning. It's about having a set of rules that can be repeated over time. For me, trying to buy an active distribution with no manipulation is a recipe for disaster. Obviously, for me now trading almost a decade, it's not worth my time trying to get that, because okay, yeah, I win once. Let's say I win one time and I make a little bit of money. Okay, that now creates negative reinforcement. So if I now break my rules again, I'm being positively rewarded for a negative action, which is something I don't want to do. So yeah, I mean, obviously, if your data tells you it does get you to a dangerous point, man. It really does, because you're thinking, yeah, I won, I did it all right, but you took a trade that's very low probable and probably going to lose majority times. Let's go look at it. Let's go try and buy an active distribution with no manipulation to the downside. Let me know how that plays out 1,000 times. I can already tell you it won't be well. Then you'll be hitting me up like, yeah, bro. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's see if it can come down here and give a micro, if it can. Gold, we'll look at gold a little bit later. On GJ took a buy. What's your fundamental narrative for that? What makes you buy GJ? What makes you want to buy GBP/JPY? So yeah, that's my Euro USD. Gold's on the news for reaching all-time highs. Yeah, crazy. I think pound can, I mean, look, this is order flow. I think we can get a larger shakeout on this. All right. I think, and I would love this on pound. This is going to be my bread and butter. We can do this. Because I don't think let's see. I mean, this is order flow in here. This is like an M1 reaccumulation, but on GU. But to be honest with you, being this early in the week on FOMC, I'd rather this thing give a larger shakeout. Look where we are. We've just sought and destroyed to the left. Probably want to see some rebalancing. I mean, let's see what the volume's doing. How are the higher time frames closing? Yeah, we're definitely slowing down. Yeah, we're definitely starting to slow down. Right, yeah. I mean, I don't really want to be trying to be too aggressive of buying here. I'll be real with you. This was going to be based off if the dollar confirmed that redistro. So because dollar hasn't, I think it makes more sense to see this do that and then do something like that, to be honest with you. I don't really want to prematurely buy in there. Why is gold so high if dollar is going down right now? Well, remember, there is like just because it's paired against a dollar doesn't necessarily mean that it's driven by the dollar, because gold is also traded in other currencies. All right. Gold is traded in so many other currencies. So there is demand for gold globally. And because there's demand for gold globally, that's why the price is going higher. You know, gold and silver are things that will only ever go higher over time, right? Because of the scarcity around it. That's like the S&P and the US 30. Over high enough time frames, they only go higher. Obviously, they can have corrections, you know, on a week to week and day to day basis, of course. But if you're looking at like 5 years, 10 years, then things only go higher. Because specifically with the metals, just because they have use cases and they have demand because of the use cases and they're scarce. There's only a limited amount of gold on the planet. It's not like they create more gold every day. And, you know, pretty much, you know, basic economics, right? Higher demand, supply is limited, price goes high. But yeah, so that's how I want to look for GU. I want to see if GU can give a little sweep to the downside and then play the reaccumulation on this. Any questions about GU? No? All right, bet. Okay, so in terms of other currencies, I think JPY is my next one I'm looking at. So let's speak about JPY. So in terms of JPY, right? What can we talk about with the current fundamentals? So we know that this week is going to be big because we've got another JPY monetary policy meeting, and obviously their press conference and their rate decision. So what's the thesis? So we know, right, and I will share this article in the chat so you guys can get all this, right? So we know that Japan, they're getting pretty much fucked with inflation right now, right? Inflation's at 4% in Japan, all right? Chinese cabbage and leeks are fucking high as fuck. But their inflation is going crazy, right? So because their inflation is going higher, their central bank have started to do what? Raise rates. And because they've been raising rates, that's why we've been seeing institutions adopting over 170,000 long positions on the Japanese yen. So seeing them inflation being very problematic, right? They've been raising their rates, right? We saw their first rate rise for the first time in 17 years, and that's because it's away from their target. So I can't predict what they're going to do, right, with the rates, but it makes sense for them to probably pause them or raise them. There's no point there. They're not going to cut it. I don't see any reason to. Now, I'm more on the side of them raising rates this week, only because of the Nikkei, right? So we know the first time they raised rates, what happened? The first time they raised rates, their stock market literally took a fucking shit, right? It went and dropped ridiculous amounts, right? It literally crashed in a few days. It crashed almost 30%. So what did the central bank say? They was like, nope, we're scared. Let's not raise rates anymore. Let's pause. All right, stock market recovered. But they then started to raise their rates again, right, to now 0.5%, which is still small, but it's coming higher than negative interest rates. So seeing them raise the rates, and when they raised it recently, we didn't really see much of a sell-off on the Nikkei, which is the Japanese stock market. So I don't really think they're going to be hesitant to cut the rates. I don't think they're going to be hesitant to raise the rates again. They're probably going to raise the rates this week. So if they raise rates, all right, I think we are going to see JPY continue on a bullish narrative. We'll talk about the stock market in a moment. Where's my JPY? Come in. All right. So I'm looking to continue buying Japanese yen. Now, in terms of the levels where I want to buy it, and of course, if you're trading your currencies, this is just USD JPY inverted. So you just do the like this chart is the exact same as USD JPY. It's just flipped upside down. All right. So you said JPY is fundamentally long, but you saw an opportunity to buy GJ based on what? Well, you just said it yourself. You said JPY is fun. So you said JPY is fundamentally long. So that means XXX JPY pairs are going to go down. And then you're finding yourself buying an XXX JPY pair. I mean, for me, my journal tells me that's not worth it. But I guess if you're profitable doing that, bro, go for it. But yeah, so in terms of where we are now, we did obviously invalidate supply over here. All right. And we are in this bullish leg. So it can come down. All right. And we can look for buys down here. However, look at the time frame, right? December, all right, January, February, March, April. It's going to take a while for that to occur. That's the swing perspective. For that to happen and for this to come down here, all right, we're going to need to break that lower time frame market cycle. And if we can break that lower time frame market cycle, all right, that will give us permission to come that deeper. It was more based on technicals. Yeah, but what drives technicals? What drives technicals? You know, for me, technicals is not that important. The first thing, the most important thing is fundamentals, because if you're an institution, which we were trying to follow, right, as smart money, Wyckoff, whatever fucking you want to name it, our goal to make money is to follow what the big boys are doing. That's the only way we make money. So if the big boys are trying to buy Japanese yen, why do I want to go against that? Why am I going to make it harder for myself and swim against the trend? You know, for me, it's not worth it. Because again, I'm not thinking about one trade. I'm thinking about the next 50, 100, 500 trades. So yeah, so obviously we are still in a bullish market cycle on this, right? We still have a reaccumulation. So for me, I'm going to be looking for this to accumulate out of it. All right, this reaccumulation is looking pretty good. The question is, where are we on the lower time frames and what are we doing? So let's inspect. So do we have any change of characters yet? Anyone validated this yet? Or nah? Where's my ruler? So what do we have? We've got a move of 20 pips. Okay. We definitely go over the 38.2. So we might have a seller's climax into automatic reaction. All right. This could definitely be the start of our accumulation. All right. This could definitely be our seller's climax to automatic reaction. Now, we're still early days. We're still in phase A. We still need to build out B, C, and D. All right. But this is looking promising. We've got our 1 drive, our 2 drive, potentially giving it ST and B. Can we now see a little bit more strength and then a spring and then something like that? I'll be looking to buy this. This could happen today or tomorrow, London. So JPY is going to be very high on the priority list. Now, in terms of where we are, we can come a little bit lower. All right, we still can come to mitigate this shake out of the 80%. There's a lot of confluence there because you've got the 50 of this, then you've got the 80 of that. So I wouldn't be surprised if it does come a little bit lower. If this thing just sells off now and doesn't return to the 50, then this will just be a redistro, and I'll be looking for another accumulation down here. But as of right now, I've seen a little bit of volume come in. Seen any divergence? We're seeing some divergence. We're seeing some strength starting to enter. So let's just see if we can build out an accum. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pop an alert a little bit lower on this. And also going to pop an alert on this high. Because JPY is a slippery Joe. So it is possible that this thing can just rally. Obviously, if it does, I'm not going to buy it because it doesn't meet my validation criteria. So in terms of that, what's my views on GJ? I could not care less about GJ because GBP JPY is driven by JPY, meaning it's Japanese yen that's going to influence it. So if we're buying JPY, you should be selling GBP JPY. Now, here's the problem with trying to trade GBP JPY, because if you're trying to, so again, if GBP JPY is going to go lower, JPY futures has to go higher. So if you're at a point of interest in trying to sell GJ, but Japanese yen isn't accumulating and just fucking selling off, this thing's going to blast right through your POI. So I don't see the point in trying to trade GBP JPY. I'm just going to trade the thing that's influencing the currency pair. Because when you've got a currency pair, you're looking at two currencies, right? And obviously one currency is going to have a greater influence over the two. So why am I going to fight GBP JPY if I'm trading Japanese yen? If that's what I'm basing my analysis off, why don't I just trade Japanese yen and make it easier for myself? The reason why is because you're coming from a scarcity and a 9-to-5 mindset where you think and believe the more you do, the more you get paid. So now you're coming and looking at all these different markets like, oh my God, more currencies, more trades, more money. And then you're still sitting in drawdown in the nicest way. Took me losses doing this? Yeah. Trust me, man, it's a scary thing. Do you lower risk when there's a lot of reason for price to come lower? Define reason for price to come lower. I mean, it's in demand. I mean, I'll just risk the normal risk. Like if I'm in premium, then yeah, but at this point, no, normal risk. I wouldn't risk less in this instance. This is the normal trade, yeah. I mean, as long as I get the valid accumulation, I'll risk the same. Because anywhere in here is discount. So if I see demand, I'll buy it, bro. How to learn the base, bro. I've got a whole training on it. So if you come in my community and you go to the CoinQuest channel and you just literally search, you literally just search fundamentals. We've got a whole training on it. Here, where is it? Here. This is literally all you need. This training here is literally all you need. This is literally a 5-year economic degree in 21 minutes, and that will teach you everything you need to know, and you'll never need to learn anything again. Fundamentals after that. How come it took you this long to stop trading exotics? I never said I stopped trading exotics. I just follow my data, bro. End of the day, I'll just follow my data, you know? Like, bro, when I first quit my job back in fucking 2019, 2020, I was trading Asia session. You know what I mean, bro? I got my first payout on NZDJPY on it's like a 1 to 40 risk reward, and it hit during Asia session. By the time I woke up, it hit take profit all in Asia. But today, why would I never take a trade in Asia? Because when I look at the data, right, I realized that it's not worth my time, effort, and energy to take those trades in Asia now compared to today. Not to say you can't, you can. You can trade exotics, you can trade in Asia, you can trade Mondays. But when I look at, well, okay, I got to spend that time, that effort, that energy to manage a trade, journal the trade, use my leverage on my account. I got to pay spreads, commissions. I got to open my account up to risk, right? I got to use leverage on my portfolio. Why would I do that for something that's lower probable? You know, like if trading Asia sessions giving me a 30%, 20% win rate, but then not trade in Asia is giving me a 50, 60% win rate, I'm going to follow the numbers, you know? Yeah, bro, 100% I did a mentorship. Always. I literally have mentors for every area. 100%. 100%, man. So yeah, I mean, obviously I would recommend sticking to one because The problem is what some people do is they go fucking education crazy and they learn off 50 million people. And if you're learning of about one thing of loads of people, you're never going to succeed because they're all going to have different reasons and principles. You know, like what one person's data says might be different to another person. So now if you're looking at this guy's data and that guy's data, you're going to get confused because you've got two strings pulling in opposite direction. But yeah, bro, I have mentors in every area, man. For sure. I think mentorship is the best way to, I mean, everyone's got their own opinions, but for me, from my experience, I didn't want to spend all that time and stress figuring it out myself. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to do with JPY. I definitely want to buy it. I definitely want to buy it. What's going on? There we go. So let's see if we can do a JPY. Right. In terms of currencies, what else we got on the data side? I mean, Thursday we've got interest rates for Swissy and pound. We'll definitely see some volatility. I mean, in terms of Swissy, they've been cutting rates. So I still want to see this thing sell off, but we're not really seeing any signs of sellers. In the higher time frame, it's just in a rock and a hard place, to be honest with you. It's not really doing a whole lot. I mean, this is not really on my watch list anymore. There's not much I'm really going to do with this at this point. I mean, fundamentally, it makes sense for this thing to go lower. Maybe it's just sweeping some more liquidity before it rolls over again. But I don't really want to touch this and fight this. I think currency-wise, it's going to be Japanese yen, which is the inverse of UJ. Pound and euro pretty much. I mean, Australian dollar, this isn't showing any weakness. The dollar's starting to drive this again. Same thing with New Zealand dollar. So I think I'm probably just going to stay away from them for now. Goldilocks. I mean, this thing did exactly what we said, but it hasn't given me an entry. You know, if you guys remember, back at the start of the month, we said sweep out those lows and then create an all-time highs, which it did. Just nowhere to enter off this. There's no mitigations, man. I mean, if she can come back into here and accumulate, I'll get in. But I think silver will probably be the better option at this point. And maybe see if silver can come and mitigate this demand. I think this will look pretty good for silver's front. But I think in terms of that, bro, that's pretty much it. I think everything else I'm gonna be looking at is probably indices. Yeah, I mean, so UK 100, all right? I mean, fundamentally, this is extremely bullish, right? I was willing to try and play a hedge on this thing based on all the profits we've made this month and last month of it, because, you know, we caught some filthy buys on UK 100. You guys remember the one on my birthday? We caught that 1 to 30. And then obviously that one, like two weeks ago on Friday, we caught that like nice little, I mean, where did I close? Like a 1 to 30 again. I mean, it's shit. We did go for a 1 to 70, but I didn't catch that. You know, I just closed a 1 to 30. Unfortunately. But again, you can't be greedy, man. You always got to be grateful. Like, and this will happen as well, especially with these big risk rewards. Like, you'll get in trades and you might catch a 1 to 10 and it goes for a 1 to 50. Don't matter. Where's your target? You know, be happy and be grateful of what you got. Am I checking your charts? I mean, you can send it in. So this was little supply. Now, again, I'm not putting a lot of weight on the short because fundamentally this thing is bullish. I think what we are potentially doing is creating either a shakeout for a larger reaccumulation, which obviously needs to break this high to confirm it, or we're going to get that retracement down. And based on these buys, I've got profit to risk on my account. So I am happy to try and play a hedge down, right? But I don't think we're going to get it at this point. We're seeing a lot of strength on this. And we did have a lot of volume in here. So I think I might even try and scalp the buys, to be fair. Nah, bro. Like when I got put on, like my mentors were always telling me 1 to 10s from day one, always. So yeah, I mean, well, before I got my mentor, like yeah, bro, I was doing fucking 1 to 1s and 1 to 2s, trading like a retard. Um, but when I learned my strategy, which I'm still trading, fucking fuck knows how many years later, like almost 10 years later, yeah, bro, it's always been minimum 1 to 10s, and it just makes sense. Like I would rather trade less to make more. Like what's the think about all the time and effort. If I'm catching 1 to 1s and 1 to 2s, to make 10R, I got to take 10 or 5 trades, all right? And to do that, I mean, you got to win 5 trades or 10 trades, and taking 10 trades in a row at a 1 to 1, you're not gonna fucking win all 10. So you need more. So think of all the spread, all the commission it's gonna take on the account. Think of all the time and effort you gotta spend, bro. It's long. So for me, I'd rather just sit back, spend a few hours a week on the charts. Like for example, this birthday month, when we took obviously UK 100, we waited what? How long? We waited about 2 to 3 weeks for the trade and then caught 1 to 30 and was done. Which buys? Potentially UK 100. So I think if we can invalidate this, so again, higher time frame, but we know fundamentals are bullish. So my thing is, when we broke the order flow, it was either to retrace down, right, to give the pullback. However, we know that that doesn't always have to happen. It can just give a shakeout and then reaccumulate like that. So because when I look on the lower time frame at this point here, we're not seeing a whole lot of weakness yet. We are seeing a little bit of strength. I mean, of course, if this thing can confirm a distro, I will get in for shorts 100%. But what I'm trying to say is, if this thing can start to invalidate supply, it makes more sense for us to confirm the reaccum. So if I can see some reaccums with micros, I can get some cheeky scalps on UK 100. I think the problem of getting 1 to 10s, you can't handle losing a lot of trades before you get that big winner. Who said you got to lose a lot of trades to catch a 1 to 10? On my swing trading account, I think last time I checked my journal, I'm sitting like a 63% win rate. So, if I'm taking 10 trades, I'm going to be winning 6 out of 10 at least. So who says you need to have a lot of losses? I mean, any strategy when you're new, you're going to have a shit win rate because you're not good. Like even if you're trading 1 to 1s and 1 to 2s when you're new, you're going to have a shit win rate. Anyway, it doesn't matter what strategy. You increase your win rate based on your validation criteria. And I think, but here's the thing: people can't get 1 to 10s because they don't know how. Like a lot of people's targets are just based on 20 pips, 50 pips, 40 pips. And where people have such big stop losses, they can't get bigger risk rewards. Like if we're looking at these buys, UK 100, look, we got a 7-point stop loss, catching over 210 points on that. So because we've got the precision and we understand these key zones, that's how we get the bigger risk rewards. Obviously, I still lose trades. So don't get it twisted. I'm not sitting there saying I got 100% win rate. I lose all the fucking time. But I win way more than I lose, which is the main thing. How many trades take a week? So again, I've got different accounts. I've got a swing trading account where I probably take, I think this month on my swing account, I've taken 2 trades this month on that account. But on a scout, I mean, I haven't really traded too much this month because obviously I had to go back to London, I had a funeral and all that shit, so I couldn't, really focus properly. But on a scalping account, where I'll scalp and I'll day trade, maybe take 2 trades a week on that. %2 a week with a 1 to 1. So yeah, but then you got to risk 2% on your account. That's too fucking much. 2% risk is fucking ridiculous. Like again, for me, and like when you start getting on larger capital, you're not trying to risk 1%. That's wild. You know, you're because of slippage. Like you got to remember that slippage is going to occur and price can gap your stop loss. So if you're risking 2%, bro, like you're getting gapped, you can be down 5-10%. You know, and we go on losing streaks too. It happens. Every system has one. So for me, my main goal was capital preservation. I'm not trying to worry about making loads of money. I want to keep the money I got by risking low. I mean, now, of course, if you're scalping indices, yeah, I'll take a 1 to 5 for sure. Yeah, but at the end of the day, you got to know yourself. You know, that's the key here. You know, is knowing yourself. Who wants to be in a? Well, that's the thing, bro. For me, it makes more sense being in a trade for 2 to 3 weeks because then I've got nothing less. I've got nothing to do. I'm free. You know what I mean? Like I didn't quit my job to start another fucking job. You know what I mean? But yeah, this is what I'm gonna do with UK 100. It looks like we're not getting any signs of weakness in this thing, so I'll probably look for some scalps on it. In terms of indices, let's get into that. So what's the Nikkei doing? All right, I think with the Nikkei, this did mitigate demand. And if they are going to keep raising rates, this thing will sell off if they keep raising rates. So what are we doing? It was kind of consolidating right now. We're stuck in a rock and a hard place. I think we'll get a bit more clarity with this when they have their interest rate meeting. So I think what I'm gonna do with this, I'm gonna wait for the BOJ's meeting. Wait for the redistro. Can you send my chart? Yeah, bro. I said send it. Send it. Maybe I wasn't. Maybe I swear I said that earlier. Oh well, yeah, send it. Gold, there's nothing on gold. I'm gonna trade. Absolutely nothing. I mean, am I going to sit on a 1 minute time frame and buy at all-time highs? No, I'm not a crackhead. You know what I mean? Like, I don't ever. So many people are just obsessed with gold. I'd rather trade silver. Silver looks better. Silver's lagging. You know what? I don't want to trade the leader. I want to trade the lagger. So let me get silver. Right, indices. Let's get ready to buy the fuck out of these bad boys. Right. This has finally confirmed our accumulation, right? Finally, all right, and we're at demand. Now, I wouldn't be surprised of another little dip. And I think the FOMC meeting is going to be the catalyst for this week. Now, we have got an accumulation. We have got an accumulation down here, right? So what I want to do with this, let me see the volume. I want to buy it, right? I mean, ideally, I want it to break this little doohickey, all right? But yeah, we got the Cume, man. The Cume is game time. 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive, 4 drive, 5 drive, 6 drive, spring, strength. Now let's moon it. Yeah, I mean, I don't like how we're correcting out of supply, but what is NASDAQ doing? I've got the open in half hour. We might even be able to, you know what, we might even be able to scalp this down today. Reload above the 50? Probably not. Probably not. I mean, it can accumulate in there, but probably not, to be honest. Need your brutal remarks. Got you, man. But that's good, bro. Like, you can't be afraid. Like, too many people have got very fragile egos, and you have to be ready to get your fucking ego blown out, bro. Like, I'm not gonna use that example. And like that's the thing, you got to change your brain to go towards that uncomfortable feedback. Otherwise, you're just gonna stay in the same situation, you know? Like you got to ask yourself, what do I value more? Do I value actually changing my life and being somewhere different in the next 5, 10, 20 years? Or do I value feeling good for 5 minutes? Use that example. No, it's definitely not appropriate. It's not PG-13. Yeah, I mean, you know what? We might be able to get a very small scalp on the blue box today, but I'd rather commit to the buys. I'll be honest with you. So if we can get a Diddy micro in here, definitely haram. If we can get a little micro in the open, we might be able to play a small scalp down to the demand, but I want to buy it. And I'd rather sit out and wait for the buys. So we've got that. We're in an active distro. So maybe, where are we? So with the active distro, I want to either see, are we going to stay in the range? All right. And are we going to do something like this and then do that for the reaccum? Or are we going to show weakness and then play a small mitigation off the redistro down to demand before then trying to send this thing back higher? Does that make sense? When's last week on currency pairs? Last week. Yeah, last week. So NAS is pretty much going to be the same thing. We've got divergence with NAS and ES. So NAS is leading because NAS didn't give the manipulation. So that means I'd rather trade ES. Counter trend trade in the blue, but yeah, counter trend is always half risk, bro. Always. I'd rather trade ES today. What's US 30 doing? Oh, wait, did that? Oh, it did. Hold up. Hold up, Sonny Jim. Oh. Oh. Wait there. Let's see if we can validate this. Hold up. We've got a type 4, I think. Let's see. No. Let's see this. Let's see this. Let's see this doohickey. Wait, do we have a type 1? What does the validation criteria say? We've got SC. We've got STB. Oh, shit. We got a type 1, boys and girls. We got a type 1 on the Dow. Thursday low? Yes, please. Come on. What, not bad. It's 122. It's not bad, but do I have volume in there? Oh, wait. Do I have volume in there? No. Wait, do we? Let's see. Daily looks nice. Weekly? Oh, the volume though is not the bad. Not bad. Volume's looking good. I might give it a go. That limit's not bad. I might play a small limit on the Dow to be honest. I would have preferred more volume in that low. Got divergence, save the day. Yeah, we do. This looks pretty good. all indices, yeah, 100%. Like remember COTs, like, and everyone remember this. There's no one end all be all in trading, right? As traders, you are like a lawyer and you have to build a case and build a narrative. Don't just look at one thing and say, oh my God, this is everything I'm going to do. Why the fuck are COT reports but bearish? The only reason they're bearish is because they're profit taking. Right? There's a difference between profit taking and actual fulfillment of sell orders. This is profit taking. Well, that was profit taking. I mean, this doesn't look too bad off the 80. I mean, the 122, I'll give it you. I'll give it you. That's not bad. I will give that a go. I'll be honest. I'll give that a go. I like the Dow. So we're in an active distro up here. The question is, I do want to play a micro. I'd rather getting on a micro down here rather than just placing a blind limit. But I'm happy to do a limit off that 80 to send it to all-time highs and get that 1 to 22. But I mean, how long am I going to be holding that for? How long did the last one take? To crack the high, it took a month. It's not bad. It's less than 1 hour a day though. Not bad. Yeah. So I think what I'm gonna do with Dow is it's an active distro. It's pretty much the same as ES. Question is, are we going to put the UTAD and then come a lot lower and then do that? Or are we just gonna? Oh, we've got the open in about 20 minutes. So let's see if the open gives us manipulation. Let's try and buy below the open in price. Yeah, Chef, rubbish. I'm touching Chef. Simple as that, brother. Chef is doing fuck all right now. So yeah, it's a Dow. So I think definitely give that a buy. It's in an active distro on a lower time frame. We are in a larger accum. So yeah, let's see. That's pretty much it. Anyone else got anything else they're looking at or any other questions? I mean, that doesn't look bad. Speaking of which, I wonder what the RR off of where's my all-time high? Even to the fib extension, I wonder what that is. That should be 1 to 30 actually. $47,000 on the Dow. 47,000 on the Dow. Oh, the measured move. Oops. Yeah, look at 1 to 30. Nice and dirty. 1 to 30 on US 30. I like it. Man, that's going to be a swing. In terms of today, I'm going to see if I can play a small scalp on it. In terms of my scalp, so we are. So wait, let me change the visibility of this. There's not much here. I want to see what the open does. I want to see if the open can give us a bit more of a manipulation. We're going to open in 15 minutes. When you place your limits, it's just stop loss. If you're getting wicked out before it's going to the right direction, it's not about your stop loss placement. It's about because your stop loss is supposed to be a place that invalidates the trade idea, right? So for me, what invalidates this trade idea is if price trades below the demand, right? However, that's not important. The most important thing here is what happens before the entry and the validation before. Right? So don't worry about, oh, where's your entry and stop loss? That's not important. It's what gets you in the trade here. If you're finding yourself getting whipped out before it goes, you're not validating your trade correctly. You're entering too early because you're entering in phase B of the schematic. You're entering in here. So you're coming in, you're like, oh, yeah. And then you're getting fucked before it goes because you don't buy in phase B. You got to buy in phase C of your accumulation. And obviously, when you go through the lower, go over the lower time frame validation video, bro, and you'll see obviously all the validation criteria before. Does that make sense? Anyone got any other questions? UK 100. I think we looked at that. I want to see if it can give me again, like it is bullish higher time frame. Remember that, right? It is bullish higher time frame, and I'd rather do this and see if I can get some small scalps up. However, because I've got the profit off these trades here, right, and it can rebalance, I'm open to trying to play a small hedge down. It's just if I'm gonna get weakness in this distro and I can invalidate this market cycle. I can do, where are we? All right, let's see. I've actually got a few NDAs. I can't actually disclose that. 2, 3 minute break. So yeah, I mean, it's not looking bad. I'd rather it break this little demand though. Oh my God, spell. There you go. Let's see. Let's see if we can break that. Anyone else got any charts? Anyone else got any questions? What else? What else are you guys looking at? GA? What you got on GA? Fuck me. I don't remember the last time I traded this. Just gonna send it up here. Yeah, UJ looks really good. I think I'm gonna be babysitting that. Bitcoin? Look at Bitcoin. Why are you trying to buy this, bro? This already got mitigated. You know, I think like you got to remember these supply and demand zones, right? Think of it like glass, right? So if we've got, let's say we've got glass, right? And we hit it. The more you hit it, the weaker it's becoming. So for me, it's already, if this thing's already been hit, you know, it's like if you want a virgin wife, bro, you only lose your virginity once. You know what I mean, right? If she's been hit by the whole team, you don't want that. You know what I'm saying? So this has been hit. I'm good. There's no real reason for me to buy this. POI has been mitigated. GBP NZD, what's that doing? Yeah, look, GBP NZD is already fucking broke it as well, bro. Unless GN's mitigating this, But GN's got room to come lower. Master of analogies. Come on. Yeah, GN is also in phase B of an accumulation. Well, it's probably going to redistribute because of where it is. Looking to short. I wouldn't short it. No, I wouldn't short it. I'd wait for the buy. If you're going to buy GN, I'd wait for the buy. That wasn't that bad, actually. But GA, oh, you want to short GA PR or GN? I mean, GA is leading. So GA, I mean, yeah, I'm good. I don't want to try and get caught up with that buy. It's not worth it. I mean, can it play out? It can, but you know, what does your journal say about POIs that have been mitigated? What does your life experience say about marrying OnlyFans girls? Not that I've had that experience, but you know, I can imagine it wouldn't be great. Yeah, I'm good. This has been mitigated. To get tested weekly. So yeah, I think it'll come a bit lower. Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin come lower, bro. I mean, we've been waiting for this since January. Come here. Actually, can I short this bitch down today? Let's see. How do you stay clear and unbiased in the market? That's a good question. That's a really good question. So how I stay clear is I do a lot of work on myself, right? So I split up my trading into 4 areas. 25%. So like if I've said, okay, so if I've got an hour, right, I'm going to do 25% of my time in technicals, 25% of my time in psychology, 25% of my time on technicals, and 25% on journaling. So to kind of get unbiased, you have to, there's a long-term and a short-term approach. The short-term approach is to focus on your breathing and bring yourself back to the present moment and remain calm, right? Doing diaphragmatic breath work, bellows breathing, where you're clearly spelling is something I'm not good at. All right, bellows breathing, where you're breathing in, putting your belly out, exhaling, putting your belly in, right? To ground yourself and bring yourself back to the present moment. The long term is working on your belief systems, questioning that, auditing yourself, going through the belief examination process, questioning what you believe, why you believe it, auditing your childhood, looking at it's a very long conversation. We actually did the training on it yesterday. You should go and watch yesterday's recording. Yeah. But then also from there, I'll just follow my principles, bro. Like to keep it simple with you. Like for me, I do formulate biases, and that comes from my rules, right? So I'm just following my rules. If I look at something and it tells me, okay, if every time I go down this road, I get a punch up, I'm not gonna go down that road. You get it, right? Or every time I go down this road, I get a cookie, I'm going to go down the fucking road. So it's the same thing on my trading. I formulate biases based on data, right? And you should formulate a bias when you trade. Otherwise, what the fuck are you doing? You're just gambling at that point. You know what I mean? You should formulate a bias. And your bias should come from fundamentals to give you your direction, and your technicals give you your entry. Now, to stop yourself being sucked in to one area is you have to use devil's advocate zones. So when I've done my analysis for, okay, I'm looking for sales, for example, I'm now going to stop and say, where would the buyers live, right? And like, imagine like you're going through Afghanistan, right? There's going to be some terrorists around the corner, right? You're going through South London. There's going to be some roadmen that are going to try and rob you. So you've got to be careful. So for me, terrorists are the devil's advocate zones. It's if I'm selling, where are the buyers? All right, buyers live down here. I ain't gonna have any trouble from them until I get to that area. You know what I mean? They're in the south, I'm in the west. All right, I ain't gonna have any problems until I get down south. Then I can deal with them, you know? Or if I'm looking at a lower time frame, identifying where could the buyers live. So obviously I'm formulating the buyers and I know what is my plan. And I also look at the pros and cons too. So like you can sit out and list out what are the pros, what are the cons, how many reasons do you have to buy? All right, I've got 1 reason to buy, 2 reasons to buy, 3 reasons to buy, 1 reason to sell, 2 reasons to sell, 3 reasons to sell. Yeah, I'm not doing anything now. It's 50-50. I want to be stacked 70-30 in my favor. But obviously it still needs to meet the minimum criteria anyway. I think though, maybe we can something like that. Probably come higher though and build a cleaner distro. Is there any reason why you set limit? Oh, I forgot to check that. I didn't. Yeah. Oh, so yeah. Here we go. Supply. We're in supply. You know, I need immediate mitigations to set a limit. I need immediate mitigations without tickling supply. You know, I'll give you another example, right? You want another analogy? All right. You're at a party with your girlfriend. She's gone to the bathroom, but she's over there with another man. Get out of here, right? Versus, where's my Dow? Versus, all right, she's gone to the bathroom and the geezer's up there. He's nowhere near her. It's okay. Does that make sense? So because the Dow is not in the supply zone, that's why I'm willing to set a limit on it. So I mean, that's it, bro. You know, if my thesis is this, right? If buyers are in control from here, right? Either I should not be touching supply, because think about it, if buyers are in control and now I'm coming into a supply zone and I'm reacting out of supply, the only reason I'm reacting out of supply is because there's more sellers in the market than buyers, right? So if I'm reacting out of supply and I'm trying to buy, what? You're my girl, but you're sitting on his lap? What? Am I a dickhead? You know what I mean? Gone, haram, finished, bas. So I need him out of the picture. You get it? No competition. So like DBE song there. No competition that only see me, right? If I can do that or get an immediate mitigation where I'm not touching the supply, yeah, I'm in. And I've just lost too many fucking trades doing that. So I just refuse to take trades where I've reacted out of supply. If that makes sense. What did you do that made you detach yourself from trading to make you perform your best? That's a good question. What did I do to detach myself from trading? The first thing that comes to mind, bro, is I had a job. Straight up. I had a job, bro. I covered my bills. I covered my expenses. And I said to myself that I don't care how long it's going to take. I accepted that, look, this can take 10 years for me to be profitable and I'll be around for the journey because I know what's at the end of the tunnel. And there's a freedom like no other that I can attain from this. So I accepted and I submitted to the process. You know, I didn't try to rush it. I mean, I did at the start, I'll be real. I was like, you know, I want to quit my job in 3 months, in 6 months, right? But that's not a reality. We can't control that. So I said to myself, look, like, shit, if I'm here in 20 years time, bro, fucking hell, I'll still be it. I accepted it. You know, I accepted that journey. And then I just focused on, like, it's called the locus of control, right? Or maybe lotus, I'm not sure what one it is. Locus of control, right? And locus of control basically it just is like, what can you control? The internal reality versus the external reality, the things you can't control. You know, can I control what I do on a day-to-day basis? Can I control my entries, my exits, my journal, the questions I'm asking my mentor, the conversations I'm having? Can I control that? Yes. Can I control if I win? Can I control if I become profitable? No. You know, I can only control the things I can control. So that's what kind of made me at peace, bro, as I focus more on those things that I can actually control rather than the things that I can't control. Also using gratitude. It sounds a bit cliche, but just becoming grateful, bro, and being grateful for where I am. Even though I wasn't where I wanted to be, you know, I've had to be grateful for that situation because they say the universe, God, whatever, will never give you more unless you're content with what you have. The universe will never give you more unless you're content and appreciative of what you have. Right? Why would God, universe, whatever you want to call it, why is he going to give you more if you don't appreciate what you've got? You know? So it was that. And like, I think as well, bro, I just kind of lost for a while. I just lost a lot of money. I just said, fuck it, bro. I don't care anymore. Like, you took my money. What else are you going to take? You took my dignity. What else are you going to take? Took my virginity. You know what I mean? But realistically, no, I accepted the process, focused on what I could control and what I can't. And I got clear about that. And I set goals based on what I can do on a day-to-day basis and what I have influence over and what I can't. And I let what was be to be. Presence, breath work, bringing myself back to the moment, working on myself and getting a mentor, bro. Like, it always comes back to that. Having conversations and me asking higher quality questions. Helped you focus when looking at charts. Getting feedback on my charts, that's the best thing, bro. Like, I would literally spam my mentor with charts because I wasn't profitable. So how do I know what I'm doing is right? It's probably not going to be right. So I had to get feedback from people who had the results I wanted, and that told me if what I was looking at was correct. Other things for focus is doing it in the morning. Like, the first thing when you wake up, like, based on your, obviously everyone's got different schedules, but like, you don't want to be trying to trade after a fucking 12-hour shift at work. You know what I mean? Your willpower is going to be shot. So try to do it in the morning. Try to do the hardest task. Like, if your time's limited and you're working a job, I'd wake up first thing in the morning and I'd do the fucking charts. I'd get onto the hard work, you know? That's what I did, bro. Get your priorities, you sacrificing certain things. Like, bro, I'll be real with you, man. Like, when I was broke and I was still trying to, I hate that word, but when I was not broke, when I had less money in my bank account, because no one's broken, you know, we're all God's highest form of creation. When I had less money in my bank account, I would sacrifice. Now, obviously, I wasn't fucking cutting lambs' throats and shit, but I got rid of my fucking consoles. I got rid of my PlayStation. I sold that and I bought a course. And I got scammed. Right? I sacrificed going out with my friends. You know, like, I literally, oh yeah, Kieran, you wanna come out? You wanna come smoke a zoot? You wanna come go for a coffee? You wanna come? No. And I would sit at home by myself and I'd fucking work, because those same people are still doing the same things with their shitty lives. Sorry, but it's reality. You know, so it's who I had to sacrifice, who I was surrounding myself with. And it, like, there was a perfect quote Alex and Moisey said earlier, and it is so true, because where you are in your life right now, right, your friends are not going to get the path where you're going. And as you're grinding, as you're hustling, you're going to start to get ahead, and they're going to start to fall a bit behind you. And you're going to go through a lonely period where you're not quite good enough to fit in with the new crowd, but you're not quite low enough to fit in with the old crowd. And you're just floating. And I used to think something was wrong with me. I used to think, man, am I weird? And what am I doing? But it's just like, sometimes you have to go through that lonely period for the level up. Sometimes you have to make space for the new to enter your life. And then I started making new connections. I started going to trading events. I started meeting and reaching out to other traders on social media. Like, you guys know, obviously I'm not fucking famous or any of that shit, but I post on social media as a brand because it allows me to network with other people. Like, I've literally, this is crazy, right? Like, there was literally, right, today, I'm not going to name names, but when I was a kid, there was someone I used to fucking watch on fucking YouTube, on TV, and they're now in my DMs. just because of a fucking post on Instagram. Now, I'm not saying you got to be a trading influencer, but just document what you're fucking doing, you know? And what will happen is you'll start to attract your vibe. Like I've created so many mentors and they've took me more seriously just because they've seen a fucking little bit of me on social media. It sounds so weird, but it's just like they see you doing something. They see you fucking trying to do something in your life and they realize, whoa, this guy's not a fucking a bum. You know what I mean? And it created new connections. And for me, that's what also helps in my environment because it's your environment, bro. You are who you surround yourself with, right? So with your environment, right, who are you surrounding yourself with, bro? Because you are the average of the people you surround yourself with, man. Like, obviously, you know, I'm not a dickhead and I still have friends, bro, who, you know, are in the bottom of the barrel. But I've also got friends who are at the top of the fucking, you know, the cream rises to the top. And I try to be around people who've got the results I want because energy rubs off. So what helped me focus was getting around new people and changing my environment. You know, physically, when I used to live at my mum's house, I covered my entire bedroom with papers like Wyckoff schematics, trading rules, laws of the universe, pictures of fucking watches and kettles, pictures of cars, pictures of houses that I all have now. Thank God, right? Because I saw it every day. So it's seeing your goals, it's putting yourself in a physical environment that you can see these things that you want. You get it? And caffeine. Shit ton of caffeine. Nah, too much caffeine is bad for you. But I'm really big on health and I'm really big on holistic health. So I've always been into like fasting. So intermittent fasting where I don't eat, you know, probably 16, 18, 20 hours a day. Obviously know yourself, right? You know, sometimes you might have to eat, you know, I'm not a doctor. I take, you know, supplements. You know, for me, when I'm fasting, my energy is not digesting. It's free in the brain for me to focus, you know? So fasting helped a lot, you know, like start with the basics, you know, like if you haven't taken pink Himalayan salt, right? If you haven't taken Shilajit, right? Like just start in your mornings like this. This will help you focus. Because remember, most of these chemicals that are produced in your brain that affect your life is produced in your gut. So what you're eating, right? Cut out processed foods, eat whole foods, clean foods, if you can, organic foods, right? Cut out all these processed shit, right? Me and my wife have a one ingredient household where we don't have fucking snacks, right? We have to make it. You get it, right? So all the meals we eat, I mean, you know, she obviously cooks it, but it's all cooked from scratch. Don't buy these fucking ready meals. Don't buy all this pre-packaged processed bullshit. That'll fuck up your focus and fuck up your mental, right? That'll fuck up your emotions. That'll fuck up your emotional stability. So eat clean foods, clean diet, right? In the mornings, obviously drink water, but with lemon, lime, a bit of salt. You know, I put a little bit of blue spirulina in it, if you can, some Shilajit, right? Some sea moss, right? And just start with a base, some coconut water, get the electrolytes, get your blood and get your body flowing, right? Eating clean and doing these things. Like if you want, you can take nootropics. I wouldn't take them too much. You know, like ginseng is really good if you need a lot of energy. But like if you need energy like that, it's probably because your diet's fucked, to be honest with you. Do you only trade red folded days? No. Or what would you trade the best days? I trade when the market makes opportunities available to me, bro. And do I think the XY will go to 101? I don't think anything. I create if then scenarios. I mean, I'm bearish on it. I'll tell you that. I want it to go lower. But if I can get weakness and if we can see the monetary policy remain dovish, then yeah, I think we'll see this thing go lower. Yeah, bro, of course, you know, yeah, I always, bro, like I always struggled with keeping that abundance mindset when the external didn't reflect that 100%. And that's the hardest thing to do, bro. Like, that is the hardest thing to do, mate. Like when your bank account, like bro, like I remember bare times my bank account would start dipping in net fucking negative, and I'm like, I'm supposed to have 6 my account's negative, bro. You know what I mean? Of course, 100%. But I think the biggest thing that helped me with that is an audio by Kevin Trudeo, called, oh fuck, what's it called? What's it called? Kevin Trudeo. Your wish is your command. That's it. That's a really good audio. And you know, he speaks about like one of his billionaire friends. You know, when his life's going shit, he just fucking laughs about it and goes on vacation because he realizes that the universe has got his back. And I think maybe it's a bit of gaslighting, fuck knows, but it's having that faith, bro, that you'll be okay. You know, you've made it through all of your worst days, and when you've got these goals, you're gonna be okay. The universe will make it okay for you. And I think for me, listening to that audio, your wish is your command, and The Stranger's Secret by Earl Nightingale really helped me change my focus. And yeah, bro, like you will slip into those negative thoughts, bro, but you can't look at like the absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence, right? Just because you don't have it right now in the physical don't mean anything. Everything's first created in the spiritual. You know, you get a woman pregnant, you don't see the fucking baby for 9 months. Doesn't mean it's not there. You know what I mean? It's there, but you don't see it yet. You know? So I can't see the air I'm breathing. Doesn't mean it's not there. You know? So everything is first created in the spiritual plane. And you gotta reprogram the mind, bro. So like anytime I would catch myself thinking those negative thoughts, I would tell myself, cancel, cancel, cancel 3 times, like a crackhead, bro. I'll be at work pushing trolleys. Abundant. Oh no, I'm broke. Cancel, cancel, cancel. Like stacking out and twitching and shit. But no, I would do that to break the pattern and to reprogram my mind. Because we think in habits, right? So, oh, we go. We're selling off at the open now. Here we go. All right. So, looks like we're redistributing. So, if it looks like we can boot here. All right. I might play a hedge down on this. So, let's see. If I can micro up in here, I'll probably play a hedge in that to go down. Hello. Maybe Naz with a hedge. Bro, I'm thinking, where the fuck's my blue box? It's not even clicked on. Blue box? Blue box. There you go, blue box. There you go. Good boy. Our calls are normally Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, 7 p.m. Thailand time. You're in? What are you getting off? What? Oh no, I was good, bro. Well, congrats, man. I was waiting for this break. Oh, you had that break? No, I needed this. There you go. I mean, yeah, I guess you should have took some partials there. I mean, yeah, bro. Obviously, other Wyckoff traders trade different ways. You know, there's a million ways to skin a cat. Like you got to realize that like all these different strategies is just trying to understand the same thing, and different perspectives suit different personalities and different people, and some perspectives are more closer to the truth, if that makes sense. Like it's like a fucking pyramid, you know, like a reverse pyramid. Like you've got the, you know, you've got like, for example, let's say you got like the retail at the top, like, you know, your retail trade, like your support and resistance, your candlestick patterns, right? And then from there, it's like, all right, cool. You've got maybe your, like, let's say like, all right, your supply and demand. And then you got like your SMCs. Then you got like your Wyckoffs. And then you got we trade. You know what I mean? You can be profitable with anything, bro. That's the thing. It just comes down to what makes more sense to you. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like there's a million ways. And for me, like I always kept being open to learning. And if I found someone that was doing what I wanted in a more effective way, and again, what for me, what made me like take a mentor on board was one, how much time are they spending on the charts? How stress-free and how repeatable is their strategy? And what's their win rate? You know, what's their overall profitability? And for me, if I found someone that was doing something similar as me and I can add it and I can test it and it can increase my win rate or increase my profitability or mean I spend less time on the charts, I would implement it. But I'd always test, you know, I would never just blindly start doing something. I would say, all right, let me take 20 trades based on this, 20 trades based on that. Oh shit, I made 3% more and I spent 4 hours less on the charts. That's better. Yeah, man, always, that's it, brother. Yeah, you gotta have an open mind. Damn, bro. Andre, your fucking trade's killing it, mate. I think you just moved the markets. Good job, bro. Damn, yeah, we're getting that sell off at the open. Is NAS going to react from that blue box? I wouldn't be surprised if we got something like that. I'll be real with you now. But again, we come lower. So if we micro in there, I'll give it a go. Cool. Anyone got any other questions? What's JPY doing? Oh! Where are we? 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive. Okay. Good. Yeah, I think we're going to get JPY today. I think we're going to get... Well, there you go. All right. If it's not clear, it's not clear. Well, again, two ways to look at that. One, is your understanding of legs actually correct? And that's why having feedback comes in. That's why I tell everyone, like, send charts every day into the community. You know, get feedback, because sometimes you think you're looking at something right, but in reality, you're looking at it wrong. But the other side of the coin is, you know, if it's not clean, just change the screen. Like, don't force it. Don't make your job harder than what it is. Like, I think a lot of times you're seeing something that's not clean. It's not clean for a reason. You know what I mean? What's UJ doing? Yeah, definitely want to try and sell UJ. Yeah, it does. UJ is looking good. Got the STMB. Let's get the spring. Oh, mate. But yeah, anyone got any other questions? So it's just a waiting game now. I think I'm going to edit a YouTube video or something. Bro, talk to me. Mr. I'm profitable in my sample size now. Looking ass. Get your profitable ass out of here, man. No sprint. JPY. Yeah, bro, we'll definitely do an event in the summer. I was gonna do one. I was planning to do one in March, bro, and I got fucking stung with that funeral and shit, bro. It was pretty peak. But we'll do one in the summer, 100%. We'll do one in the summer. I just got a couple things I got to sort out, but I'm definitely gonna do another one. Obviously, I'll confirm the dates. I think what I'll do this time is I'll announce it a little bit more in advance. I think the one before we did it like a month before, something like that, or if that. Yeah, next one I'll announce it like 2-3 months before. And I think maybe we'll do like a 2-day event, maybe we'll see. It depends how many speakers I can get. But we're definitely gonna do a summer event, 100%. Maybe what we do is we do like, I'm just thinking out loud. Maybe we do the event again, like another event, get like a venue. This time I want to like I was trying to get a cinema for us last time. I literally was about to fucking book it and someone brought it like 5 minutes before me. I was pissed. But I want to try and get a cinema for us so we can all have fucking comfy chairs. And then I think what we do after is I might get like an Airbnb or something and do like a more intimate like mastermind later on or the next day. Pairs I'm looking at now, yeah, I mean JPY, which is the opposite of USD JPY. So USD JPY shorts, if we can get a manipulation, GU buys, if it can come a little bit lower and give a shakeout. Intimate things. No, none of those intimate things. You know what I mean? That's it on currencies, bro. Maybe UK 100, play a short if it can show weakness. If not, play the buys higher. The zesty comments with a Wyckoff. Bro, some of y'all, man, are zesty. An ES. I mean, maybe small scalps down to demand on indices, but I'd rather buy them. Pride Month coming up, for fuck's sake. Right, let's not host it during Pride Month. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with that. If anyone celebrates that, that's on you. We don't judge here. We are LG HD TV friendly. What are you looking at over here? HDMI cable. Wouldn't we? We wouldn't. What we got here? Why is UJ looking like that? So how are you seeing this? So let's pull up. Let me move a few things. So you're saying UJ is a type 2. Any books on personal development? Depends what you're struggling with, bro. Like, what are you struggling with? So where's our chocky wocky there. What are you struggling with? Let me know what you're struggling with, bro, and I can give you a more accurate book. But I always recommend Mastery by Robert Greene. That's my bread and butter, you know. But it all depends on where you are and what you need help with. Like, I can recommend you something on discipline, but if that's not your problem, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I can recommend you something on time management, but if that's not your problem, it doesn't matter. So what are you struggling with? I don't know, man. This isn't really screaming weakness to me, bro, because that's an accumulation. Like, these I can get behind because we've got a micro distro. It's part of a larger distro, redistro. I can get behind sell orders, but I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. I think this is, and it's a type 2 on a Tuesday. I don't want to be that aggressive. We can get the spring tickle the 80 and send it. But if you perceive that as a drive, go for it. Always trust yourself. I don't think even, does futures even tap off the 50? No, futures don't even tap the 50, bro. DXY, active accumulate. Yeah. I mean, there's two ways I'm looking at it. If it can pop this low, I'll play this as a redistro of a micro. Or if it doesn't give the micro, then yeah, to do the larger redistro. I got that James Brown song stuck in my head, bro. You know this one?
Paid the cost to be the boss.
That's my new theme tune. Any good books on limiting beliefs and changing your belief system? I don't have a book on that. I have audios. One of my favorite people for like inner work, self-belief. Let me double check the question. Is someone called Julian himself. He's one of my favorite one of my favorite mentors. He's got some really good stuff. Obviously, like, just read some of the topics and pick one that that obviously resonates. Yeah, but let me see if I can find the specific one. I've got a playlist. Oops. I've got a little playlist somewhere. Let me find it. Where's my knowledge? Where is it? This one is really good. The secret to stop all self-sabotage and how to identify and change core beliefs. On the next reel. Yeah, I might have to, bro. This is a really good one. I'm trying to think books for self. Off the top of my head. It's more so audios that help me with that, bro. This is a great one. This one as well. The Invisible Force Self-Image that enables you to achieve great goals by Dan Locke. This one's good. Free yourself from darkness. Crawl out the pit of coping and thrive. This is a good one. How to Build Your Self-Image by Bob Proctor. Psycho-Cybernetics, actually, if you want to talk about books, Psycho-Cybernetics, yes. Psycho-Cybernetics is fantastic. And I'm currently reading Joe Dispenza, Placebo. This is really good. This one's crazy, man. But yeah. The One Thing by Gary Keller, yeah, that's a good book. Yeah, so yeah. What else we got? We definitely got the sell-off at the open. Come down to demand. All right, boys and girls. I think unless there's any more questions, I'm gonna go and grab a little bite to eat and then see if we can scout indices. So yeah, today I'll be looking at UK 100. So today will be UK 100 and indices and JPY. But yeah, Danlock's funny, man. He's good. But yeah, cool. If there's no more questions, no one's got any charts they want me to review, then we will call it a day. Cool. No questions? No more charts? All right, fam. We will catch up again on Thursday. Obviously, I'll still be active in the chats, etc. But I'll catch you guys on Thursday, same time as usual, and we'll see if these positions transpire. Obviously, big week. You know, I'll drop the fundamental document in the chat. Make sure you're up to date with everything, and yeah, take care. Thanks for tuning in.